Welcome to Wellness Science Hub. Today's topic may challenge a lot of what you've been taught about nutrition and health. Most people don't expect a heart specialist to talk about fasting, yet the science behind it is becoming too important to ignore. Throughout history, people became sick, recovered, and survived long before modern medicine existed. That raises an interesting question. Did the human body evolve built-in healing mechanisms that activate under certain conditions? Fasting appears to be one of them. When I first encountered the idea of fasting in medical training, I was skeptical. I assumed people fasted only because food was unavailable or because of religious traditions. But as I spent years studying physiology and biochemistry, I discovered that fasting triggers powerful biological responses that deserve serious attention. Many people believe skipping meals causes weakness, fatigue, and loss of mental performance. Surprisingly, history suggests the opposite. Thinkers such as Socrates practiced fasting because they believed it improved focus and clarity. Modern research offers clues as to why. What many people call an energy boost after eating sugar is often just activation of the brain's reward system. Sugar temporarily increases dopamine activity, creating a feeling of pleasure rather than true energy production. This is why cravings can feel so powerful. A large part of eating behavior is habit rather than hunger. We eat because the clock says it's lunchtime, because we're watching television, or simply because we've always done it that way. Over time, society has convinced us that we must eat constantly. We hear that breakfast is the most important meal of the day and that we should eat 5 or 6 times daily. Yet there is little evidence that the human body evolved to function that way. For most of human history, our ancestors were hunter-gatherers. Their genetics were shaped over millions of years during periods of feast and famine. Agriculture arrived only recently in evolutionary terms, and industrialized food is newer still. Processed foods, refined flour, and highly refined seed oils entered the human diet in the blink of an eye compared with the time it took our biology to develop. Our genes have not fully adapted to these dramatic dietary changes. Humans were designed to tolerate periods without food. When animals become ill, they often stop eating naturally. Many people do the same when they have the flu. This suggests fasting may serve a biological purpose rather than being a harmful state. When food intake stops, the body does not immediately run out of energy. During roughly the first 12 hours, stored glycogen in the liver and muscles provides fuel. Blood sugar remains stable. After glycogen begins to decline, the body creates new glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis, using recycled proteins that are already being turned over naturally. As fasting continues, insulin levels fall. This is one of the most important changes. High insulin encourages energy storage, while low insulin allows the body to access stored fat. Fat cells release fatty acids, which travel to the liver and are converted into ketones. These ketones become a powerful fuel source for nearly every cell in the body, including the brain. Many people have been told that the brain can function only on glucose. Research shows otherwise. During prolonged fasting, the brain increasingly relies on ketones and often functions remarkably well. Some studies suggest ketones provide a cleaner and more efficient fuel source. This helps explain why many people report improved concentration and mental sharpness during fasting. The longer fasting continues, the more fat the body uses for energy. Individuals who already consume fewer carbohydrates often enter ketosis more quickly because their glycogen stores are lower. The key factor controlling access to fat stores is insulin. When insulin remains elevated, fat remains locked away. When insulin falls, stored energy becomes available. This is why insulin plays such a central role in weight management and metabolic health. People with chronically high insulin levels often struggle to lose weight because their bodies remain in storage mode. Lowering insulin through fasting improves insulin sensitivity, allowing the body to respond more efficiently when food is reintroduced. After a fasting period, the next meal is handled differently by the body. Less insulin is required, metabolic flexibility improves, and the body becomes more efficient at processing nutrients. Even a single day of fasting can create benefits that continue for several days afterward. Fasting also influences metabolism in another surprising way. Rather than slowing everything down immediately, the body increases certain hormones, such as adrenaline and related stress response chemicals. This can raise alertness, improve focus, and increase energy. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes sense. A hungry hunter needed more awareness and motivation to find food, not less. The brain also responds positively. Fasting increases production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, often called BDNF. This molecule supports learning, memory, and the growth of new brain cells. In effect, fasting can encourage the brain to become more adaptable and resilient. Another important hormone affected by fasting is growth hormone. Levels can rise dramatically after 1 to 2 days without food. Growth hormone supports muscle maintenance, tissue repair, recovery, and healthy aging. While synthetic growth hormone is expensive and may produce side effects, fasting stimulates the body's own natural production. One of the most fascinating benefits of fasting is a process known as autophagy. This cellular cleanup system becomes more active as fasting progresses, particularly after about 18 hours and beyond. During autophagy, cells identify damaged or unnecessary components, break them down, and recycle the raw materials. Instead of discarding these materials, the body reuses them to build stronger, healthier structures later. Think of autophagy as a deep cleaning and renovation project inside your cells. Old proteins, damaged cellular machinery, and worn-out components are removed. When eating resumes, the body can rebuild using fresh materials, leading to healthier and more efficient cells. This renewal process is closely connected to stem cell activity. During the refeeding phase following a fast, signals encourage the production and mobilization of stem cells. These cells help repair tissues and replace damaged cells throughout the body. Rather than relying on expensive external interventions, the body activates its own repair systems. Taken together, fasting influences insulin sensitivity, fat burning, brain function, hormone balance, cellular repair, and tissue regeneration. Human physiology evolved with periods of both eating and not eating. The evidence suggests that alternating between fasting and feeding may be one of the body's natural strategies for maintaining health, resilience, and long-term function. Fasting doesn't simply help you maintain your current health, it can trigger powerful renewal processes throughout the body. In many ways, it allows your body to become stronger, more resilient, and biologically younger. The scientific evidence supporting these effects has been accumulating for years, yet it receives surprisingly little attention. One reason may be that fasting doesn't generate profits. There is no product to sell, no prescription to refill, and no industry that benefits financially when people simply stop eating for a period of time. One of the major advantages of extended fasting is stem cell activation. While short overnight fasts provide some benefits, deeper cellular regeneration requires a longer fasting period. The body needs sufficient time to recognize that repair and replacement processes are necessary before it begins mobilizing stem cells on a significant scale. Many people wonder whether a 3-day fast is actually possible. The answer is yes. Most healthy individuals can do it with proper preparation. Success depends on mindset, planning, hydration, and creating an environment that supports the process. Having access to plenty of water and reducing unnecessary stress makes the experience much easier. There are many reasons someone might choose a longer fast. One of the most compelling is autophagy, the body's internal recycling and cleanup system. Enhanced autophagy is associated with cellular repair, healthier aging, and improved resilience. Some research has even suggested that prolonged fasting may significantly reduce the lifetime risk of certain diseases, including cancer. Cancer cells are highly dependent on nutrients, particularly glucose. During fasting, glucose availability decreases and insulin levels fall dramatically. This creates a metabolic environment that is far less favorable for abnormal cells. Research continues to explore how fasting may influence cancer prevention and treatment. Some studies have investigated fasting before chemotherapy and found encouraging results. Patients who fasted for a short period before treatment often tolerated chemotherapy better, experienced fewer side effects, and showed improved protection of healthy cells. The theory is that normal cells enter a more resilient, protective state during fasting, while cancer cells remain vulnerable. As a result, treatment may target unhealthy cells more effectively while causing less damage to healthy tissue. Although this approach is still gaining acceptance, interest in combining fasting with conventional cancer treatments continues to grow. It would not be surprising to see fasting become a more common supportive strategy in oncology over the coming years. Fasting may also offer benefits for people struggling with autoimmune and inflammatory conditions. Individuals with disorders such as rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease, lupus, and other chronic inflammatory conditions often report improvements during fasting periods. One reason may be that digestion is temporarily paused, allowing the body to redirect energy toward repair and recovery. The digestive system is one of the most energy-intensive systems in the body. When it gets a break, the body can focus resources elsewhere. In addition, fasting may help support gut health and reduce factors that contribute to chronic inflammation. For people dealing with insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, fasting can be especially valuable. By lowering insulin levels and improving insulin sensitivity, the body becomes better equipped to regulate blood sugar naturally. Many individuals experience substantial improvements in metabolic health when fasting is combined with an appropriate diet. There is also growing interest in fasting's potential effects on brain health. Some observations suggest that periods without food may improve mental clarity and reduce cognitive fog in certain individuals. While more research is needed, many people report noticeable improvements in focus, alertness, and overall mental function after extended fasting periods. When people perform a water fast, hydration becomes extremely important. Water supports countless biochemical reactions throughout the body. Interestingly, many people notice increased urination while fasting. This happens because lower insulin levels allow the body to release retained water more efficiently. Electrolyte concerns are common, but the kidneys are remarkably effective at conserving essential minerals. In most healthy individuals, short-term fasting does not automatically create severe electrolyte deficiencies. However, some people may experience symptoms such as headaches, dizziness, or muscle cramps. These symptoms often improve with adequate hydration and a small amount of mineral support. A pinch of high-quality salt added to water can sometimes help relieve headaches, lightheadedness, and cramping. Magnesium may also be beneficial for individuals who are prone to muscle tension or cramps. Another common concern is hunger. What many people discover is that hunger comes in waves rather than increasing endlessly. Hormones associated with appetite rise and fall throughout the day. Drinking water, staying occupied, and continuing normal activities often helps these hunger waves pass relatively quickly. For many individuals, the second day of a prolonged fast is the most challenging. Once they move beyond that point, they frequently report increased energy, improved mood, and greater mental clarity. By the third, fourth, or fifth day, some people feel remarkably energized and focused. Not everyone needs an extended fast. The best fasting strategy depends on personal goals and health status. For general wellness, maintaining a daily eating window of 6 to 8 hours can be highly effective. This approach, often called time-restricted eating, allows the body to spend more time in a fasting state without requiring long periods without food. For example, someone might eat their first meal in the early afternoon and finish their final meal in the evening. Outside of that eating window, they consume only water and non-caloric beverages. Eliminating snacks is particularly important because every snack stimulates insulin and interrupts the fasting process. This daily pattern allows the body to alternate naturally between storing energy and burning stored fuel. Over time, metabolic flexibility improves, fat burning becomes more efficient, and insulin sensitivity often increases. For those looking for additional benefits, a longer fast once per week can be useful. Extending a daily fasting window into a 36-hour fast occasionally may provide a stronger stimulus for cellular repair, immune system renewal, and metabolic improvements. Many people find this duration realistic and achievable. It offers meaningful benefits without requiring the commitment of a 3-day or 5-day fast. Longer fasts are generally reserved for individuals pursuing specific health goals and should be approached thoughtfully. Some people dealing with chronic conditions have experimented with multi-day fasts several times per year while maintaining time-restricted eating throughout the rest of the year. Their goal is often to improve metabolic health, reduce inflammation, support brain function, or address long-standing health concerns. The larger lesson is that modern life revolves around constant eating. We have been conditioned to believe that food must be consumed continuously throughout the day. Yet human biology evolved under very different circumstances. Periods of eating and periods of fasting were both normal parts of life. Understanding that balance may be one of the most powerful tools available for improving health, longevity, and overall well-being. Fasting is not simply the absence of food, it is an active biological process that triggers a remarkable series of adaptations designed to help the body survive, repair itself, and thrive. Your body is constantly monitoring what you eat. It doesn't just count calories, it recognizes whether you're consuming carbohydrates, fats, or proteins, and adjusts its internal chemistry accordingly. Deep inside your cells are molecules that act like nutrient sensors, helping your body determine whether you're in a fed state or a fasting state. When you fast, a group of proteins called sirtuins becomes more active. These proteins influence how your genes are expressed. Think of your DNA as a massive library where most books are locked away. Sirtuins help unlock specific sections of that library, allowing certain beneficial genes to become active. One particularly important gene activated during fasting is called FOXO3. This gene has attracted tremendous scientific interest because it influences many of the body's repair and longevity mechanisms. When FOXO3 becomes active, it turns on antioxidant defenses, enhances cellular protection, supports DNA repair, and promotes healthy aging. Interestingly, other factors can support these same pathways. Vitamin D is one of the most important. This is why maintaining healthy vitamin D levels matters so much. Vitamin D participates in hundreds of biological processes, many of which involve gene regulation and cellular repair. When vitamin D levels are low, your body's ability to activate these protective mechanisms may be compromised. Unfortunately, vitamin D deficiency is extremely common. Many people assume their levels are adequate, but the only way to know is through testing. Sunlight exposure can help, and supplementation may be necessary for those with low levels. FOXO3 activation also supports DNA maintenance. Every day, your DNA experiences damage from environmental toxins, radiation, stress, and normal metabolic processes. Efficient repair systems help preserve cellular function and slow aspects of biological aging. Healthy DNA repair is closely connected to longer telomeres, the protective structures found at the ends of chromosomes that are often associated with longevity. These pathways also help regulate apoptosis, the body's natural process of removing damaged or unnecessary cells. Eliminating dysfunctional cells allows healthier cells to thrive. In addition, FOXO3 supports protein maintenance systems that help prevent harmful protein accumulation inside cells. This is especially relevant to brain health. Conditions such as Alzheimer's disease involve abnormal protein buildup within brain tissue. The body's ability to maintain protein quality and remove damaged cellular components is an important part of preserving cognitive function as we age. Stem cell activation, brain-derived neurotrophic factor production, and many of the rejuvenation effects associated with fasting are connected to these same biological pathways. When combined with proper nutrition and adequate vitamin D, the body's repair systems become significantly more effective. Nutrition also plays a major role. The foods we eat influence which genes are activated and which remain dormant. Highly processed foods tend to interfere with many beneficial metabolic pathways, while whole foods support healthier gene expression. Fruit is often viewed as universally healthy, but moderation still matters. Fruits provide valuable nutrients, fiber, and antioxidants, yet consuming excessive amounts can result in unnecessary sugar intake. Choosing lower glycemic fruits such as apples, pears, peaches, plums, and berries is often a better option than relying heavily on fruits with a higher glycemic impact. Omega-3 fats are another critical component of healthy aging. Modern diets often contain excessive omega-6 fats due to widespread consumption of processed vegetable oils. Ideally, the balance between omega-3 and omega-6 fats should be much closer than what most people currently consume. Omega-3 fats support healthy gene expression, help maintain telomeres, reduce inflammation, and contribute to overall metabolic health. Increasing omega-3 intake while reducing processed seed oils can have a profound effect on long-term wellness. Sleep is equally important. Chronic sleep deprivation accelerates aging processes, while quality sleep supports repair and recovery. One reason sleep is so powerful is that melatonin does much more than regulate sleep cycles. It also participates in cellular protection and activates pathways involved in repair and longevity. Meditation appears to offer benefits as well. Research suggests it may positively influence markers associated with aging and cellular health. Together, nutrition, sleep, stress management, and fasting create a powerful foundation for long-term well-being. One concept that deserves attention is insulin-like growth factor 1, commonly known as IGF-1. Protein consumption stimulates IGF-1 production. While protein is necessary for maintaining muscle and overall health, excessive protein intake may create unintended consequences. Very high protein diets can increase cellular growth signals while reducing autophagy, the cellular cleanup process activated during fasting. Balance is important. Most adults do not require massive amounts of protein, despite what modern marketing often suggests. Protein powders, protein bars, and heavily marketed supplements have become extremely popular, but many people consume far more protein than they actually need. Whole food sources such as fish, poultry, eggs, and other minimally processed foods generally provide sufficient protein for most individuals. Studies of populations with naturally lower growth factor activity have produced fascinating findings. Some groups with genetic variations affecting growth hormone pathways experience remarkably low rates of certain age-related diseases and often enjoy exceptional longevity. These observations continue to shape our understanding of aging and metabolism.